Hey, and welcome to the Meditations and Musings podcast. I'm Elena. I'm a mama, I'm a wife, and I'm the founder of the Divine Self-Care Circle membership and the Virtual Retreat Academy. I don't believe that you have to sacrifice your body, your health, or your family in order to create true abundance and prosperity. I believe in living based on the divine feminine metrics of success, and these include pleasure, play, ease, grace, and a slower pace. Each week, I'll bring you 1 to 2 new episodes. One of these will be a guided meditation that you don't have to do on the meditation pillow, and the other will be a conversation to help you access your inner wisdom, to ignite abundance, and inspire others to do the same. I invite you to join me on this journey back to the magic of a divinely aligned and well cared for you. And now, join me for today's episode. Hello and welcome to episode number 9. Every time I say a number and it's a higher number, it makes me feel so freaking excited and proud of myself because this podcast, as I'd mentioned on previous podcasts, has been in the birthing process for a long time, and now I'm doing it, which makes me feel so proud of myself, so excited, and so on soul's path. So today, I want to talk to you about one of the things that I talk about so often and really one of the driving forces behind the work that I do. So the title of this podcast is You Don't Have to Do It Alone. You don't have to do it alone. I'll say it again. You don't have to do it alone. So what is it and what is do it? What does that mean? So if you're listening to my podcast, chances are you are an entrepreneur or a want-to-be entrepreneur. You're in the process of building something. You are aware of spirituality. You have been awakened to a higher purpose. You might or might not know what that currently is, but you're curious. And the amazing thing about the time that we're living in right now is that there's so many resources, there's so much technology, there's so much that you can do from your home office, from your living room, from your dining room table. In fact, before I built out my lovely office that I'm working from right now, which I decorated mindfully with intention because I knew it was a place I was going to spend a lot of time in, I was working from my playroom or the dining room. But the point is I was working myself from home with my computer. And I always said, as long as I have my laptop and a connection to Wi-Fi, I can run my business from anywhere. And that is true, and I'm very proud of that. When I first started coaching many years ago, about 17 years ago now, there was really not the technology that we have today. There wasn't Facebook, there wasn't Instagram, there wasn't the video conferencing technology that we have right now that allows me to work from home and with women from all around the world, Australia, New Zealand, New York, California, etc., which is amazing. But when I first started, I had to get out of my house in order to do business. So when I first started my coaching, I was actually working for a corporation as a training manager and a senior trainer. And so I automatically spent time with other people throughout the day. But in terms of building my coaching business, the way that we did it back then was to attend meetings, breakfast networking meetings, lunch meetings, evening meetings. I had a coaching, International Coaching Federation monthly meeting where I got to meet people and have conversations. So there was this sense of like real people being all around you, and you were a real person who showed up in a room. Now everything is virtual, so in a sense it feels a little bit like the Velveteen Rabbit. It feels like, am I real? Do I exist? If I didn't show up and press, record, would anyone even know I was here? And so there's this sense of, is this real? Am I really doing it? Do I matter? Are there real people out there like me doing what I do? So when I first started coaching and I was at these meetings and I went to networking events, you got to shake hands and exchange business cards and have real conversations, and it tended to make you feel like a real person, like a real coach, like a real business person, because you had to show up in person. And these days, there's so much opportunity to not even really see people unless you stepped out of your comfort zone and went to an event, went to a conference, went to a retreat, things like that. There's nothing to replace that physical contact. And the pit hole, the hole that you can fall into with the opportunity to work at any time by yourself in your office or at a coffee shop, you sort of fall into this idea that, you have to do everything yourself. Even if you do work with someone, if you have a virtual assistant, they are virtual. And so you might not even ever see someone that you hire. You might not even talk to someone that you hire, a freelancer or a consultant. So being around real people is definitely a priority. And the interesting thing is when you are first building your business, especially if you have a family that takes up your time, right, and attention, and rightfully so, that you are putting a lot of time into your business. So you are sort of in this rabbit hole of spending time thinking about and being in and building your business because you want to do well, you want to make money, you want to make a difference, and you are spending time doing that. And so what I've seen happen for so many women is that you start neglecting friendships, you start neglecting the real people around you, or you just start having this sort of surface level connection with them because rightfully so, you just have more time for other things like building your business. I know in my life, I definitely have women in my life that I used to spend more real time with that I haven't seen for a while and I haven't really connected with. And that makes me feel, well, sad. I don't know what's going on in some of their lives. And so this last year or two, I've made a real effort to invite people to lunch and to invite people over for dinner and to suggest that we get together and host dinners at our house because I love real people. I love the people that I connect with virtually for sure, but that's just part of the equation. So if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling like you haven't connected with real people for a while, I'm going to give you 5 solutions to the lone entrepreneur syndrome, which is what I call this, the lone entrepreneur syndrome. So I want you to just pause and, if you're multitasking, just keep your ears wide open because I'm going to give you 5 ways, 5 solutions that you might want to try if they resonate with you to solve the solution of the lone entrepreneur syndrome. Now, you might be worried, well, if I do this or any of these 5 things, how am I going to still do my business? Do I still get to do my business? I need to do my business. Yes, I get it. You love your business. I love my business, but I'll tell you what, you become a lopsided entrepreneur if you don't think about the other parts of you that need attention. And especially as women, we need community. We need to be seen. We need to see others. We need to listen. We need to be heard. We need to speak our truth and our voice in a safe circle. This is one of the driving forces of me creating my Divine Self-Care Circle, which is now in its 3rd year with women from around the world. And we connect on a regular basis virtually, and we have live retreats as well. And it's really powerful to know that you have a place to go where you feel safe and heard and witnessed. And that's what we need both virtually, because sometimes, if you are feeling alone, the ability to go on Facebook or Instagram and reach out to someone is amazing. I've done this so many times. I've had people reach out to me and have been able to be there for someone in the moment when they really needed me. So virtual connections are amazing and powerful, and they've been the launching pad for some of the most incredible opportunities, experiences, and friendships that I have now. That doesn't mean the ones in person are less valuable. So I want you to really start thinking about, who are those connections? Who are those people that I haven't seen in a while? And if one of these 5 solutions resonate with you, then I want to invite you to try those and really take action now. Don't wait for a month or 2 months or till next year. Really understand that the connections that you make in real life are so important. So let's get started with the 5 solutions to the lone entrepreneur syndrome. So the first solution is to take a pen and paper and to make a list of 3 to 5 women who you know locally. And locally means within driving distance that you can reach out to mindfully with the conversation or intention to have a conversation around exploring connecting on a regular basis. Now, there are already existing groups, so you can definitely tap into those, but I want you to think about there must be women in your life within driving distance who you admire, who do work you admire. They might or might not be in the same industry as you are. You might have to ask around a little bit. Maybe there's someone that a friend of a friend knows who's doing similar work or in a similar industry, and you guys decide, hey, let's get together for a monthly dinner or a lunch or a breakfast and just connect, just share what's going on with each other. And these are the kind of connections that can become lifelong friendships. They can become a place for you to mastermind ideas. They could be a place for you to just casually feel like you have a place to share things that maybe other people in your life don't understand, because entrepreneurs do have a very specific type of language, especially if you're an online entrepreneur. It could feel very nebulous. Like, what exactly do you do? Is the question that I get a lot in terms of my online work. And so when you have women who are doing similar work online or are entrepreneurs, you're going to have a similar background, history, set of experiences that you can connect over, that you can actually have really deep conversations about. So that's number one. So right now, if that's one that makes sense to you, make a note of this. Make a list of 3 to 5 women. Hey, even if it's one other woman or 2 other women, that's fine, because you'll start there and you'll naturally decide whether it's time to add more or not. So that's something you can definitely do. So the next thing that you can do is to join a local women's group. And again, I'm saying local because we're talking about in-person connections. We sometimes forget or get too busy and don't remember that there are people around us who are ready to, build connections, build relationships. And if you think you're too busy, I guarantee you that's exactly the time that you need to decide, you know what? I might feel busy, but when I spend time with people, when I have real conversations over good meals, I feel lit up, I feel grounded, I feel connected. And doing these things are going to help you show up in your business more connected to yourself because you've had real interactions that matter. And so you start to become more of someone who resonates at a deeper level, not just someone who's so focused on, tunnel vision of the entrepreneur life that you forget that there's other things out there. It makes you a more well-rounded person. So when it comes to joining a local women's group or a club, this could be something that if you can't find one, then maybe you are a leader and you go ahead and create one. It could be a book club. It could be a business luncheon that already exists. It could be the Chamber of Commerce. It could be the Better Business Bureau. There's all kinds of things. Even if you happen to live in a place that is not as urban and has a lot of resources, I guarantee you that there's something out there that you can resonate with, or you can go ahead and start one. If you decide, you know what, I haven't read enough good books lately, I'm going to go ahead and choose one, maybe even reach out to your local library or bookstore and post a flyer, or reach out to people that you know, or just start conversations. Hey, this is what I'm thinking about. What about you? Again, this might be a matter of reaching out specifically to some people or finding something that already exists where you are. So don't feel shy. And if you do, I promise you, you'll get over it after the first meeting, because people are awesome. People want to be welcoming. People want to connect. So don't be scared. This is an opportunity for you to put on your leadership hat, to put on your big girl, blazer or whatever you want to put on, and really get out there and just know that these are the kind of connections that can really enrich you. So that was number 2. Number three solution to the lone entrepreneur syndrome is to join a group around your hobby. So again, this one has nothing to do with your business life, your entrepreneurial life, your marketing life, anything like that. It could be, for example, I love to play the ukulele, and once a month there's a group here called BUG, Bellingham Ukulele Group, and they meet and they just play ukulele. It's so much fun. It's totally a riot because there's some amazing ukulele players and there's people like me who are just learning. So it's really fun. I love Zumba, so I go to the same Zumba classes every week. And I've met some amazing women there that I can easily see myself going and saying, hey, you guys want to get together for lunch? It's not something I have done yet because I do have lots of local friends here. But just think about it. Maybe you can join a runner's club, or maybe you can find one or two women from your yoga class and invite them out to tea or coffee. So join a group around your hobby because, again, this makes you a well-rounded person who is holistic, who is not just all about business, but also feels fulfilled in other areas of your life. So that's number 3. Number 4 is one that's near and dear to my heart because this is something that I've really been mindful of doing over the last year or two. I noticed that I was losing connection with women that I adored, women that I had really strong friendships with before I dove, waist deep into my entrepreneurial online life. So number 4 is reignite friendships that matter. And don't just reignite them by saying, I wish we had more time together, but really commit to taking action, to staying connected beyond your Facebook updates, which means that you let the person know, hey, I really miss you. I miss our time together. Let's go ahead and go for coffee. Do you want to do this once a month or once a week? And really decide that you're going to commit to each other if there's someone that you want to rekindle a friendship with, someone that you basically just lost touch with over time because of work and business has taken over your life like it did for mine for a while. And so there's definitely women that I miss that I used to spend more time with that now I'm reaching out on a much more regular basis to say, hey, how about Thursday night? Let's go get a drink. Or hey, how about Friday morning? Let's go get some coffee and go for a walk. And it's been really beautiful, but it takes time. It takes intentionality. And most importantly, it takes action for you to pick up the phone or send that text, whatever you need to do, and decide we're going to connect beyond Facebook. And that's a beautiful thing to do. Number 5, the number 5 solution to the lone entrepreneur syndrome is to join a mastermind. Join one that really, really resonates with you. Join one that you want to either, develop yourself as a professional or just stay connected to women who are on a similar path. And I would say if you are going to join a mastermind that is online, maybe look for one that has an in-person element to it. Like my Divine Self-Care Circle is an ongoing year-long plus membership, but we do have live retreats. So for me, it's really important to invite the women to have this in-person membership. And the very first mastermind that I joined started off with an in-person retreat in a beautiful little town in Northern California. And some of those women are still my really good friends. One of them is my business partner. So I would say it's so important to, and again, this was really out of my comfort zone financially and just emotionally. I hadn't done anything like this before, but it really created some long-term friendships. I am actually connected with each and every one of those women right now in different ways, either as collaboration or as friendships or in business as partnerships. So that first mastermind that I attended with that in-person retreat changed the trajectory of my business in so many ways. And the really cool thing about joining a long-term mastermind like the one that I run is that you have women who will see you and reflect back to you over time. Someone who knows you, gets to know you over time, can give you some really solid reflections. And someone who's met you in person will know you on a much deeper level than someone who's only known you online. Not to say that that can't happen, because I do have clients that I've coached over time that I've never met before that are in different countries, and we have phenomenal connections. But if we had the choice of saying, do you want to get together in real life for dinner, I would absolutely jump on that. In fact, I do get to meet those women at events, other retreats, and just over time, we do end up sometimes at the same conferences, or if I go speak somewhere, I have met my clients over time. So number 5 is joining a mastermind that resonates with you, but also that has an in-person element to it, because those connections tend to be solidified in really, really powerful ways. So let me just go ahead and review the 5 solutions to the lone entrepreneur syndrome. So choose one that resonates with you and start there. So the first one was to reach out mindfully to 3 to 5 women that you know and propose an ongoing connection, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, once a month, twice a month, whatever feels right. Start where you are, and it will evolve over time. The second one is join a local women's group, whether it's a book club, a business luncheon, a networking event. And if you truly, really honestly can't find one that you like, start one. And I guarantee you that you will attract the type of women that you want to spend time with. Number 3 is to join a group around your hobbies. So one that does not have anything to do with your work or your business, but one that really lights you up. So again, I mentioned my ukulele group. There are running groups. There are foodie groups, all kinds of groups. Even if you live somewhere that's more rural, you can find something. And if you can't, again, you can start one around your hobby. You can start asking people that you know if they know anyone. And all it takes is 1 or 2 other people to start a group. That really is all it takes. Number 4 is reignite friendships that matter, and do it in a way that connects you beyond your Facebook updates. So have a conversation. Let your friend know that you miss her and decide to recommit to each other on a regular basis. Maybe it's a Friday morning coffee. Maybe it's you go to Zumba together. Maybe it's you guys decide to have a family dinner. Really decide to do it though on a regular basis, because once or twice feels good, but ongoing feels like you're actually building a relationship again. And that is really powerful. So as women, we feel like we sometimes do it alone, or we're so isolated, but you don't have to do it alone. In fact, I would say it's so much better when you have the witness, the friendship, the ongoing connection, especially when life gets tough and things happen in life. It's so important and crucial for us to not go down the hole of loneliness, and to know that we have people who can support us and listen to us and witness us, and that you can do the same for them. Super, super powerful. And number 5 is join a mastermind that resonates with you, but specifically be mindful of the in-person component. If you find a mastermind with an in-person component, what you will end up with is a deep connection with someone over time. And again, as I mentioned, the very first mastermind I joined about 4 years ago, those women in that group I am still connected with in professional ways, friendship ways. We've traveled together. We've done other masterminds together. We've coached each other. We have supported each other in our businesses. And when you meet someone in person over time, you get to know them. And those are the kind of people that can reflect back to you so deeply because they know you. They've seen you over breakfast, over dinner, over time. And you can do the same for them. So my question for you is, which will you do? Knowing what to do is not enough. You have to take action to really ignite change and depth in your life and in your work. So you don't have to do it alone. Choose one of these solutions to the lone entrepreneur syndrome and take action. Take action, take action. Action is what ignites all kinds of magic in your life. And again, this is one of the main tenets that I teach in my work. You don't have to do it alone. So I invite you to choose one of these and take action right now, today, before the inspiration leaves you. So I hope you've gotten something out of this call today, this podcast. I hope you have been inspired to take action to one of these solutions to the lone entrepreneur syndrome. That's it for today. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I will see you on our next Meditations and Musings podcast. This is Elena Lipson from elenalipson.com. If you're interested in my mastermind with the in-person component, head on over to elenalipson.com, check out my services and offerings, and you will find the Divine Self-Care Circle. And if you end up there, I cannot wait to give you an in-person, real-life squeeze hug. Thank you so much for being here, and I wish you a phenomenal, magical, inspired day. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening and learning about the new Divine Self-Care way of being in your life, business, and the bedroom based on the divine feminine metrics of success: pleasure, play, ease, grace, and a slower pace. If you're ready to bust the myth of overwhelm and tap into an inspired start to each day, I've put together a free video series for you to help you start each day with energy, inspiration, and ignite that inner pilot light which attracts joy, magic, and synchronicity. You can access my 3-step magic morning practice to help you ignite your inner light and attract the abundance that you're craving. head on over to elenalipson.com/gift. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would so love if you share it with a friend, a sister, a mother, a daughter, and please leave a review. That is how the magic starts to ripple out. Here's wishing you a day full of beauty, magic, and divine self-care. I'll see you next time at the Meditations and Musings podcast.